Hi there, it's Dr. M, ready for another day in math. Today we are going to be learning about technology tools, particularly those we're going to be using in teaching and learning in 2020. All right, so by the end of this video, you should be able to know where to go to find our schedule for the week and all the links to important tasks and resources, and also be ready to try creating and uploading an audio video version of you doing your math work. These are two things that are going to be critical this year in our new way of learning at either face-to-face or e-learning. All right. So as part of that, the fact that we're hybrid, that is, some of us are e-learning all the time and some of us are e-learning Tuesdays and in-face Thursdays or Monday and Wednesday, depending on whether you're first through third or fourth through sixth block. I have created a structure for the class where everything is going to work the same. So I'm sure it'll evolve as we go through this year, but this is what we're going to start with. So our schedule of the day for every class is going to look the same. You're going to start out by doing attendance on a link for me, and then our class time together is going to go from the stand up to close a loop, and it's going to look the same every day except for what we actually do in each of these categories. So we're always going to have stand-up, we're always going to do our class roles, and then we're going to do our teaching and learning, and some of that will be synchronous and some of it will be asynchronous, but we're always going to get back together at the end of our class time together and close the loop. And then you are going to have homework not only every class day, but daily. Don't hurt me yet. It should be a small amount of homework or a small amount of time each day, but that kind of consistency is just really good for math. And you're more than welcome to work ahead if you don't want to do it each night. All right, so the way I have this set up, there really are two locations that we're going to run the whole class out of. And notice that I haven't listed Mill Springs as one of them, but of course, that physical location of where you are might be Mill Springs, might be your house, might be your grandmother's house, might be wherever. But wherever you physically are, we're going to do everything through our class blog. Google Classroom is also going to be where the majority of the important assignments get submitted, but they're going to be links from this one place. So let me take a minute and show you this on this video. We're going to do this extensively in class, though it'll be a big part of our teaching and learning. So let me go find it. All right, here we go. So this is my home website for Mill Springs, and this is all my classes. So I'm teaching, so I have advisory, and I have classes first and second, fourth, fifth, and sixth period. So you have two choices. You can get to your class up here, and you can see under each class there's actually a list of the units we'll be doing. Or you can go down to your class icon, and you can click on it. So let's say you are in period 4 ADM. You can go here and click, and it'll take it. Oh, no, you know what? I forgot to refresh. So I actually had forgotten to do the links when I updated the buttons. We just heard the different times, and so I updated them, but then needed to refresh, so hopefully it'll work now. Yep, and now that takes us to, this is the base class page, and actually all my classes look the same as this, and so you have just two things on this class landing page. One is like the main resources, places that you're going to want to go, not daily, but the bigger kinds of resources, like the syllabus, what the class is like, definitions of the roles. You can come here and grab the Zoom link anytime you need to. The unit guide for whatever we're working on. And then I will show you this actually in a minute. But the main thing you're going to do is come to our class week. And so for this first week of school, this is actually from the Mill Springs calendar. And so any important Mill Springs dates will be right there. And this is a fourth period class, and so it actually, on Tuesdays it would be e-learning, and on Thursdays it would be face-to-face. So whichever day it is, whether you are at home or at Mill Springs, or I'm projecting this on the board, we're going to come along and just click on this link, and it is actually going to take us to a page that looks like this. And you can see I don't have it fully set up yet for what you'll see on this day when we're together. But this is always going to look the same. It's our objective, what we're going to do for the day, the evidence that I'm going to look for. So if you look right here, this is basically how you can show me that you're doing your learning. And then in here, we'll have up to, let's say, between 3 and 5 different links and activities for the day. And then can go back to that weekly view from that link. And then I just wanted to show you quickly this archived weekly links. Every single link through the whole semester will be updated here as soon as it's available. So if you've been absent or you missed a day or you want to go back and look at something, once it's been linked here, it'll be dark. If it's light, then it won't show yet. And so that'll take us back home there. So that's it for the website. We're going to go into more depth when we're together on that. Let's go back to our presentation though. All right, so Padlet is an online kind of post-it note application. And what you're looking at right now is one that I made. That's an example of what our class roles will look like. So sometimes your homework is going to be to come along and just add something. So to do that, you just double click and it gives you a new thing. So example, you can write something, you can actually take a picture, you can add files that are on your computer, you can put a link in, anything like that. So it's pretty easy to use. Sometimes your homework will be to add a comment to somebody else's post. And I created all these, so I can't comment on them. So let me go to another Padlet. So this is one that some of us teachers did together. And you can see that anyone I didn't write or put up myself, I can add a comment to. So I would just click here and say, great idea. And that's it. So the next thing that I want to talk about briefly is how you're going to show your work electronically. This is and math is one of the harder classes in a way to do remotely. My philosophy as a math teacher is it matters a whole lot more to me to know how you're thinking. When you were younger, getting the arithmetic correct was important, and it's still important to get a math problem right. But what I really want to do is get insight into how you're thinking and solving problems. That's particularly important when we're doing e-learning because everything's going to be open note, open book, because everybody's at home, and so you might as well have access. What I'm going to want when you submit either tests or even projects, we'll do it in different ways, but what I want is to be able to see your work while you're doing it. And so the way I looked at it, there are basically 3 different ways to achieve this. The first one is if you have a device like an iPad or a Surface tablet, there's some really great whiteboard apps, and I'm going to show you how that works in a minute. The second way is just very simply use paper, use a pencil, solve the problem. You have to write out your steps, take a screenshot, and then when you upload it to Google Drive, actually you can add audio in fairly straightforward ways to Google Slides or Google Docs. And so we'll also look at how that works. And the third way is if you have your cell phone or even your webcam video, you can set it up so that it's actually looking down, acts like a document camera basically. And then while you are doing your work, you can actually talk through what you're thinking and doing and then upload and submit that video. So whiteboard app, paper and pencil, screenshot and add the audio, take a video while you're doing it. Those are the 3 basic ways. Now, of course, each of those 3 has lots of different deviations. So we're going to go into this in class a lot also. All right. And so finally, this is pretty typical for how a flipped video lesson is going to work. You'll have a take action at the end. And I didn't say this up front, but one of my other points for this was with this being the first video, was for you to get an idea of what a flipped learning video is like. All right, and so in closing now, you should at this point know where to find our class and how to get started with Padlet and also with audio-visual technology. That's not to say that we went through actually how we're going to do each of those, but you should have an idea now of the basics for how we're going to run the class. And that's it. So I will see you next time. Be calm, think logically, and do some math.